Thank you to the drunk chick. I hate when they say to this last guy, because then everyone's like, yes, get him off, let's go, get the real guys on here, that's great. So, thank you, I'm the last guy, we're going to have the real ones up here soon. I got to tell you that you have to use my navigation system the other day, and it sort of irritated me because it's got a female voice to it. And, you know, I've got nothing wrong with females, I'm just asking my wife, I've loved plenty of them. But the problem is, why is it that the navigation system sounds like a female? I mean, we have those things because we already had an annoying female voice in the car telling us which direction to drive anyway, right? I got kind of discouraged because I came here and I wrote some notes down on my motivation room, and then they said there's not supposed to be any toilet humor, so that went down the crapper. Anyway, like I said, my name is Matt Spruill, and growing up with Spruill was kind of hard because it's not your average last name. I couldn't have Smith or Johnson, God forbid, but I had Spruill. And I listened to my mom trying to describe it to everybody, and she'd get on the phone and she'd say, it's like a spool of thread with an R. A spool of thread with an R. And I'm thinking, I can do that. I can say spool of thread with an R. So I talked to the guy, and he's like, how do I spell your name, bro? And I'm like, well, it's like a spool of thread with an R. And he's like, oh, you're like Spooler, I got it, that's cool, I love it. And, you know, when I thought it couldn't get any worse, like most of our parents do, they make sure that it does. So my mom, she took me to school one day, and she walked me in. She didn't just walk me into the principal's office. Anybody had that where your mom walks you in hand, takes you to introduce you to everybody? She was a bitch in high school. But she walks me in and takes me right to my class, takes me right to the teacher. And when she introduces me to everybody, she says, I'm expecting stool. She goes, it's like drool, only with an SP. So it's like drool, but it's Spruill. So Spruill got his ass whooped a lot. But I'd like to tell you guys, I just turned 38 years old. Like always, thank you. I'm just as surprised as you are. You know what the problem with me turning 38 is, you know how with women they tell you, I just turned 35 or I just turned 32, and everyone's like, oh, you don't look a day over 25, because we're all New Yorkers apparently. But when they say, oh, you don't look a day over this, I don't get that luxury, bro. Whenever I say, I just turned 38, they're like, wow, you just, damn, and that's coming from my wife. But no, I love my wife. We are newlyweds, practically, and so we'll be celebrating, thank you, we'll be celebrating New Year soon, and we had a magical romance. We ran away to Arkansas, and it's scenic. Ran away to Arkansas, and we decided to write our own vows, which was great. So, you know, I wrote mine out, Michelle, you're my love, my queen, my darling, and I went the whole, and my fantasy, everything. Then we got to hers. Matt, I lost a bet. Let's get this over with. Being 38, I recently took stock of my life, and I realized that stocks aren't worth what they used to be. But I'm a state employee. And before you boo me, just realize that's bad enough as it is. I don't need to hear it from you, okay? I've been a state employee for 8 years. You know what that means? I haven't seen a raise for 8 years, all right? The last salary cap they had, they were so happy because it brought them up to minimum wage in 1990, okay? So I work at the state, though, because I'm trying to help my other employees out, because there's apparently a bet to see how long I can last. And I'm going with it. You know, I'd like to see how this goes, because I already lost. I put 6 months in, and now we're at 8 years, so we're still going. And but apparently, I'm what they refer to in my office as a liability. Okay, well, you send out one email that says bomb and Al Qaeda and Mickey Mouse and Disney. It's all in your ass. Anyway. So, been there for this long, and like I said, they consider me a liability. And the last time I felt bad about that, I came on and I told the wife, and they were talking about how I'm a liability. My wife is real good at cheering me out. She goes, well, if just remember, I'm what, people refer to as a last resort. So that was a nice thing to hear from her. But you know, but I see, you know, you kind of like, you know, oh, what's that, you know, last resort ring. To me, I take that as a compliment, okay? Because she's calling me her last resort. That means I wasn't the first guy that she had to resort to, right? Right? What, right? Okay, so thought that one was better.
Right.
But, anyway.
Right.
Now this reminds me again of my mom. I'm still thinking about this the other day because, you know, moms have sort of like, you know, a 15-year-old boy's penis has. It's like the best of intention but the worst of timing.
That's good. Bring the weather in.
I wish we called mature, but premature coming. Go ahead. But, you know, see, I remember, you know, my mom would always say stuff, and she had the best reasons, the best intentions, you know. I remember being at church, and my mom was in the choir, and she would always try to, you know, mouth stuff down to me. You know, so I'd be sitting out there, my dad was up, he was playing in the band. We were one of those progressive churches, you know, where we like sacrifice goats. But anyway, that was once. And so, you know, I was out there in the audience, and everyone was praying. It was a quiet time, and I think my mom forgot that she had a microphone on her, because all of a sudden when it's quiet and the pastor's like, let us bow our heads. Do you have to pee? And I look up. You have to pee. That stuff, man, because I had my wife with me. I didn't know what was going on. I'm going to leave you with one final thing here. My wife and I, we do have some different opinions, but she did give me a different perspective on football the other day. I've kind of introduced her to football, which is kind of neat, but she never made me feel more dirty in my life for watching this sport. I swear to God. We sat down to watch this, and so she gets beside me, she goes, so, these guys bending over in these tights, they're like bending over behind each other. That one's got his hand on the ass of the other in front of him. That's what you like to watch? You like to see that? Yes. What am I supposed to do? Yes. She managed to take, you know, my sport of gladiators and turn into a bunch of buff bad boys that are out playing grab ass with each other. So, yes. Okay. Well, anyway, everybody, my name is Spruill, and I like watching men tackle each other.
Way to go, baby! That's Spruill, ladies and gentlemen.